overrule it. You say, well, it may not be right, but it's okay. So that's what I like about St. Augustine, was they didn't have that luxury. They were too far away from the kings to be told what to do, but still within the reach of the royal powers that they had to follow their various systems.
One of the things I think that's so interesting about St. Augustine is that anytime I go looking for an easy answer in St. Augustine, I'm always wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There is no easy answer here. One of the things that fascinated me is I was reading about the construction of the fort, the Castillo downtown, and they were talking about people building it, and I realized they're talking about slaves. And then I realized they're talking about white slaves.
Whoa.
You could be white in Spanish Florida and be a slave, and you could be black and be free. I don't know that it ever happened.
Right. The one way the archaeologists who found this place uncovered the statement that this is a time where not all blacks are slaves and not all slaves are black.
Wow.
So if your ship went ashore on the coast and you were English or French, anything but Spanish you were fine, but if you were English or French, you were the enemy. It also meant you weren't Catholic, but if you had a usable skill, they'd keep you alive. If you didn't have a usable skill, they'd kill you. But they'd keep you alive to work for no pay. Well, you're a slave. And so there were white slaves in St. Augustine looking across the street at black people who were free. It must have been a very strange place because there's no easy answer. And then what are people after a couple of generations, because once you have all these intermarriages, the Spanish had a system called the casta system, and they would have paintings on their walls to show them if a white man marries a white woman, their children are white. If a white man marries a native woman, their children are mestizo. If a white man marries an African woman, their children are mulatto. But then what happens when a mestizo marries a mulatto? You have to keep going. And
then you get Moreno
Yep.
and Pardo, Chico, Lobo.
What?
They had 37 distinct social classes.
And they finally get to a point where one of the names, I love this one, is "Don't even ask me," because they don't know what to call you, because you're the son of a half Moreno and a
mulatto.
And a mulatto, but and what are your children? But they have to go somewhere on this grid. And so you've got all of these people concerned with all of these mixtures, and at the same time, people who are building the Castillo are slaves, some black, some white, some native. So you've got this group of people building the Castillo, enslaved, of all races. At the same time, the same exact time, you've got people escaping from slavery to Florida and being free. So it's a very complicated system. It's much less clear than what you have in the North. It's a lot better in some ways because there's hope, there is flexibility, but at the same time, it's a lot more complicated because you have to figure out where do I fit, and it's not an easy answer. And so it's just one of those things where that's why I like to talk about food. Food brings you together, and all these other rules tend to split you apart. So for me, it's all about food because
Who was that young lady over there?
Joining them together.
Someone